Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Kev here. Have you heard the news? YouTube is about to make a very important decision to limit access to videos to anybody who is using an ad blocker. Yes. And I think the number is going to be 3 videos per day. 3 videos per day. That's a very interesting decision. Good interesting or bad interesting? I'm not sure. I would like to know what you think, so the comment section is open. Have at it and let me know what your thoughts are. Here are my thoughts, okay? Number 1, I have always been pro ad blocker. Why? Because the advertising environment is an effing mess. There's no question about it. It's a disaster. It has been from the get-go, you know. You've probably noticed recently, too, with the rise of AI, people saying, oh, AI could destroy the world, and other people saying, no, AI is going to be wonderful. Where does the truth lie? The headlines are all clickbait. Is it somewhere in the middle? Who knows? I'll tell you what I know about algorithms, though, and AI is basically a glorified algorithm, okay? Here's what we know about algorithms. In fact, let's do this right now. Algorithm experiment. You and I, right here, right now. Let's go. Did you see an advert before you watched this video? Did you think that advert was perfectly tailored to you? Was that a product that you would be interested in at any point in the future? How many adverts have you ever seen and thought, geez, that's exactly what I want right now. I'm so glad that that advert was served to me right now. Have you ever felt that? Ever? Compare that to how many times has an advert come up and you've gone, what the hell are they showing this to me for? How many times has that happened? I know it's happened to me a lot. Algorithms don't do a good job, right? We know this, and we know that the advertising algorithms particularly are terrible. We have major problems with the use of our data online and cookies and all of this kind of stuff. And one of the things they tell us, well, if we have your data, we'll do a better job producing content for you, serving you up the content you want to see and the advertising that's most relevant to you. I don't believe that. Do you believe that? I don't believe that. And it's awful, you know. And if you go, for example, I remember, here's another good example. There was a website for pilots, pilots discussing pilot-y like things. And I used to read this website. I have 2 brothers that were a pilot. My uncle was a pilot. My father was a private pilot as well. So I was interested in some of this stuff. And there was discussions there about people using laser pointers and firing them at aircraft. Good discussions to have. And of course, everybody on board as pilots are like, no, these things are absolutely horrible and shouldn't be allowed. What advertising do you think was being served up alongside those discussions? Yeah, that's right. Buy your laser pointers here, super powerful laser pointers, the most powerful laser pointers in the world. These laser pointers are illegal in some countries. You know what I mean? And the people who owned that website were completely powerless from blocking those adverts, you know? So advertising is a major problem. There's no question about it. And I think ad blockers are an effective way of combating that. And I think everybody should have the right to do that if they so wish. But it's not necessarily, it's not a blanket okay that everybody can use a ad blocker whenever they like, because I think there should be an exchange here, okay? Yes, I think everybody has the right to use ad blockers, but therefore also the people who are making the content and the people who are serving up the content also have the right to say no if you use an ad blocker. I think that's important. Let me put it this way. If you walk into a carpenter's workshop and say, that's a beautiful table you have there, Mr. Carpenter, I'd like to take it home with me. Mr. Carpenter says, that'll be 120 euros, please. And you say, well, no, I would just like to take it home. I just want to use the table. You know, I'm not interested in paying for it. And the carpenter would say, well, yes, but this is how I make my income. This is how I live. This is how I pay my rent to put food on the table for my kids. You know, you can't just use my table. You have to pay for the damn table. He'd be absolutely right to do that, okay? If the carpenter decides my table is outside and anybody can use it at any time should they wish to, that's fine. That's the carpenter's choice, right? And your choice is to either accept the carpenter's terms of use or to go somewhere else and look for another table, okay? And that's the way I have always done things myself personally. Yes, I still run Adblock Pro on my browser. I have done since 2007 or 2008. When I come across a website that says, if you're running an ad blocker, we would like you to add an exception to your ad blocker for our website, or we will deny you access to the content. Well, I'm okay with that. And my first thought to me then is, How much do I really want to see this particular website and access this particular information that they're presenting to me? If the answer is no, well, then I move on. It's as simple as that. I will find the information somewhere else. And sometimes they'll say, actually, this looks like a really good website and maybe a place that I come back to a lot, in which case, yes, I will disable my ad blocker for them. We have the choice to use an ad blocker or not, but we also have to accept the wishes of the content creator. I think that's important. I think it should be a two-way street here. For me personally, my own channel, as I started this channel, I never had advertising on it or on my website when I started up too. That was never my intention. They were there to be useful to people and give people an insight into my knowledge base so that they would come to me as a client, either to fix their guitars and set them up or as a guitar teacher. And that's been very useful and helpful to me. There's no question. Then at one point in time, YouTube made their own decision. YouTube said, whether or not you are monetizing your channel, we are now serving advertising on all channels. And I immediately said to myself, well, that's not going to work. YouTube, you better start giving me the money too. You give me a share of that. Okay, so I signed up to the Advert program. As soon as I signed up to the Advert program, I immediately lifted my ad blocker for YouTube. Why? Because it didn't sit right with me. It's not ethical, I think, for me to be making money from advertising on YouTube, but then blocking adverts from other people's channels. No, that's not right. That's not right. I won't go with that. So immediately I lifted the adverts. But then, as I said at the beginning, advertising is problematic, and at times it's downright toxic. And here's my example of this. I was sitting doing a guitar lesson with a young teenage student of mine, a young girl. As often happens with so many of my students, they say, listen, I've come across this great video on YouTube. Can we work through it together on the guitar? You know, whether maybe it's somebody else's guitar lesson or a song or something, or guitar solo. That's fine. I have no problem doing that. You know, and then we pull it up on my phone. It's like, sorry, adverts. You know, we wait 30 seconds and then we continue with the lesson. Well, one day an advert came up that was particularly problematic. And it was an advert for a device for trimming your balls hair. Yes, trimming the hair in your ball sack. Because, and this is very loud and clear from the message, this is what women like. Women want young men to have trimmed ball sacks. Holy shit. Sitting in front of a 14-year-old girl. That was horrible. Just like, holy shit. I switched my phone off as fast as I could reach it. Let's put it that way. Oh my God. So yes, at that point in time, I said to myself, this is a major problem professionally for me. I cannot allow this to continue. So I signed up for YouTube Premium, and I'm very, very happy as a result. YouTube Premium costs currently about 12 euros per month or 120 per year. It's cheaper if you can do the one-off payment per year. It gives you a complete ad-free experience. Overall, my experience of YouTube, I think, is better with Premium. Also, I'm happy. I have no advertising, and the content creators are still getting their pay when I watch their videos, as if I had watched the adverts with the videos too. I think that's a really great idea, and I would strongly recommend you do so. Of course, a lot of content creators also have Patreon or subscriptions, which probably nets them even more revenue directly from you. So if you can, do that for some of the creators that you're regularly watching, okay? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here with YouTube, particularly here we are in the back of 24 hours since Elon Musk started limiting people reading tweets. How well is this move that YouTube made going to go down with viewers? I don't know. I don't know how many people actually use ad blockers as a proportion of the population that actually use YouTube. So it'll be very interesting to see in the future. How does this really impact content creators? Will our revenue increase? Will our revenue increase as much as YouTube's profits do, for example? Or will revenue drop for some creators? It'll be interesting to see too. Excuse me. Could it be that most people that watch guitar videos on YouTube are the type of people that will never ever switch off their ad blockers? Are we all guitar YouTube channels suddenly going to drop off the earth? as a result of this? Or are the people who watch YouTube channels or guitar channels on YouTube, are those people the kind of people who will happily switch off their ad blocker and pay more money? I don't know what the answer to the question is going to be. So we'll see how it works out. Anyway, as I said before, let me know what your thoughts are. Okay? Let me know what your thoughts, because the end result here is that yes, the ecosystem that we are using online has to work for creators and consumers alike. It has to work for everyone equally. I think that's the most important thing here. And yeah, maybe the end result of this is you either choose to switch off your ad blocker or you walk away from content. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Let me know what you think. If you like this, like, subscribe, all the usual stuff you know. Particularly share, please. If you think this is an interesting video for others to think about and discuss, please share it with them, okay? Thanks, everybody, for your time, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. All right? Ciao.